We're going to bust through this, answer any of your guys' questions that you might have. There's a board going around. Everybody make sure you get signed in on that. Does anybody else need it? Back there behind you over there when you're done. Okay. When you're done there, can we send it down here to Kelly and Clara? And then it seems like somebody down there needed it. Okay. There we go. Mays Elementary is the one that brought breakfast this morning, so huge thank you. That was a nice breakfast. Lots of stuff going on. Holy mackerel, we're on Thanksgiving break next week. Cannot believe it. Mays, Mount Hope, and Renwick are out all week. Valley Center has to go Monday, Tuesday. They're out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you drive for Valley Center, I think there's only one. Sorry, Connie. Everybody else gets all week off, including St. Catherine's. I think they're out all week too, right? Kim?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Candace,
Yes,
is Renwick, is that Garden Plain?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yep. Safety meeting next month. We're going to go ahead and have it on the 15th. For those of you that have been here before, we always have a winter party on the last day or last week-ish, right before we go on break. And we'll show a little flyer here and a little bit of kind of what we do. That will be on the 16th. It's from 11 to 2. It's come and go because we know people have noon routes and all sorts of stuff, but you just come and go at your leisure. We're going to go over on the 21st. I've had some drivers ask for something that we can do as a group to kind of build that camaraderie back up. So I contacted Mosley's Melodrama. I don't know if you guys know where that's at downtown. It's tons of fun. The guys love it too, so guys, don't be bashful. I've booked enough room for 40 of us to go, so you and your spouse are welcome to come, and we'll cover that sort of stuff here in just a minute. Mays, you're out starting the 22nd, and I don't think we come back until the 4th or 5th. I'll have that one up next month. But the main thing I wanted on here is the 23rd is the end of your pay period. So everything you do for these 2 weeks, from the 12th to the 23rd, will go on this check. So it's going to be shy 2 days. Okay? The week after, you're going to have this whole week off, plus a couple of days that following week. So that check is going to be super short for you guys. So make sure that you plan ahead for that. Hopefully you've already been doing that. But I put that up there to kind of remind you guys, this is kind of the way that breaks up.
You don't get us a Christmas?
No. Unfortunately, no. So a lot of people got a little bit of retro pay. This would be a great time to put that aside. Hold on to it until winter break when you got it. Okay? Driver and para of the month. And the driver is Michelle Steffen. Michelle, congratulations. She's the only one that I had a nomination from. She's tons of help. She's not afraid to step in and help anybody that might need it. So congratulations, Michelle. You earned yourself front parts. Caesar, you have to give your spot up. Okay, give up your spot. Michelle's moving in.
Oh, man.
Oh, you're already up there? Sell it. Just sell it. And our para is Dalton. We've moved him around quite a bit already this year, so I'm saying Dalton. Dalton, not here. Okay. And there's front row parking for you guys too out front. All right, Mosley Street Melodrama. It is located downtown on Mosley Street. The doors open at 6. They have a buffet dinner. The dinner starts at 6:15, goes to 7:15. So you have an hour for your buffet, and then the show starts at 7:50. It lasts until about 9:45, and this is on a weeknight, but it's our last day of school. So it's the last day of school for us before break starts Wednesday. We are doing this Wednesday night. So for you, it's easy. If you have a significant other that you're taking, they might be kind of groggy the next day, but tons of fun. I have reserved 40 seats for us. I need to know by this Friday if you're interested in going, because Friday I have to pay $500 to put a deposit down on for 40 of us, and if not at least 30 of us show up, I owe $1,700 to Mosley's. I don't wanna do that. So if you think you might be interested in it, please let me know by Friday, and I'll adjust the numbers as needed, because I don't wanna spend $2,000 if not everybody goes.
What day is that, the one day it's voted?
It's on a Wednesday night, the 21st, yep. Tickets are $36 a piece. I have to pay for it, so if you wanna go, give the money to me. And it is Friday, December 16th. That's when I need the money, because that's when I have to pay Mosley's. Is I have to pay them by the following Monday, so that gives you guys all day Friday. And then the show's Wednesday, December 21st. It'll be a ton of fun. I think we're gonna be on the floor. The name of the comedy we're going to is Scrooge You, A Bad Christmas Carol. And if you guys have ever been down there, it's a ton of fun. It's an interactive thing. You don't have to participate if you don't want to, but it's a lot of fun. So, any questions on this?
Kathy, you take Venmo.
If you help me set it up, I will. I have PayPal. That's all I have is PayPal. Okay, any questions? You guys asked for us a place to get together and outside of work and build that camaraderie. I think this will be a great place to do that. They do serve alcohol. I ask that since you all you drive for the school district, you drink responsibly. I'm not going to tell you no. It is not included in the meal. It's extra. They have all you can eat popcorn. It's so much fun. If you guys haven't been, it really is worth going. All right. If you have questions, let me know. That was just a cool picture we had taken last year, I think. All right. Let's talk a little bit about unloading and loading. If there's a bus anywhere around you that is unloading, you cannot move. If the bus in front of you or beside you is unloading, you are endangering the students getting on or off that bus if you move. Please don't move. There's a reason. Use your signals. That's what we're watching for. And I've heard it over the radio. Hey, 18-1, are you free? Are you clear? Can I go? That's great to communicate. But do not move. It's not worth being ahead of the schedule 30 seconds if there's a chance of running the kid over. Okay? Speaking of, for those of you that have seen this slide in the past, I don't want you to say anything about it. Looks like this truck hit a pole, right? It didn't strike a pole. See if you can guess from the rest of this photo if you can see what they hit. 3 kids. This damage is from hitting 3 kids at 55 miles an hour. They got off of that school bus. They ran the stop sign and hit 3 kids. Killed all 3 of them. This was in Indiana 3 or 4 years ago, I think. Driver doesn't remember anything. It happens. You guys have to be in charge of your children when they get on and off that bus. You're in charge. You make sure you're watching traffic. If it's not clear, make sure you're talking to your kids and say, hey, watch this truck. You watch me and I'll watch this truck. And then you signal when it's safe to go across, especially if you're on busy roads and they're having to cross a road. So please, please, please make sure nothing like this happens on your watch. All right, time cards need to be turned in on Friday after routes, especially when we get close to break. Oh, next week. This Friday. You have to make sure you get your time cards turned in on Friday as soon as you're done so that we can get those approved over break next week and you guys can get your paychecks and it doesn't stall anything out. So make sure you get those turned in Friday. If you are taking time off, please make sure that when you do the online request, you also do a paper request. We had one yesterday and we had one today. We didn't get a paper request. The form didn't make it to us online. We had no idea the driver was gone. Both drivers out. We had no clue they were gone. So you have to do the paper ones until we figure out how to get that to jive with us. I know it's an inconvenience, but for now it's what we have to do because we can't afford to not have drivers.
On that note, why don't you say you can't go until we say yeah, you can go.
Because once you turn it in for an approval, it's out of my hands.
Oh,
I'm not the one that finally approves those.
Who does that?
I think, is that Kim? Yeah, I think Kim does it. So
We don't wait till we hear back before we say okay, we can go?
that's a good point. We could do that. I'll talk to Kim about that. Make sure you're plugging your buses in. This morning was a prime example of that. The power at the pole goes on and off as needed. So it comes on at like, I want to say 3 a.m. And so all you got to do is plug your bus in at night. It's not going to waste electricity if you're one of those green people. That's great. It's not gonna run all night long. It's not gonna overcook your, heat things. It's not a heater, block heater. Block heater, there it is. I was thinking heater pump, that's all I could think. It's not gonna hurt anything, so just plug it in at night when you're done. The next morning you come in and it'll be warmed up. Now don't think, for those of you that are new, this is not like going out and starting your bus. You can't plug your bus and expect to come in tomorrow and we got 6 inches of snow and it's not gonna be covered in snow because the bus will be warm. That's not how this works. All this does is help keep your engine warm so that it'll start easier. You're still gonna have to clean ice, you're still gonna have to clean snow and all that stuff off your bus. So when we get that kind of weather, make sure you're coming in early enough that you can scrape ice, you can sweep snow off your windshield, make sure it's off of the back windows and especially your front side windows so that you can see out of the bus. If you do not have a scraper, let Deronda know and she can get you one.
We need one. We've got one. It's got the brush, but not the scraper.
Okay, talk to Due and she'll get you one. The long scrapers for the big buses, I don't want to see somebody out there with a 6-inch scraper on a big bus. We have long ones for that.
I've seen people actually using bags on the mirrors.
Good.
So I'd like to know how did it go for the people who used them.
Yep.
Very good,
Very good. Went perfect.
Yeah.
Dewey suggested putting mirrors, bags
I
over
take my
mirrors.
trash bag and cut it in two, that way I got 2 pieces out of one bag.
Make sure we have your current cell phone number on file, and you need to program our office phone number in there. So this winter when things get bad and I'm out driving roads, if we have to call school off, I don't want you ignoring my call and then yelling at me when you come in at 6 o'clock and there's nobody here, because we tried to call you to let you know there's no school. So make sure you're plugging this number in, this is the office number, and then make sure we have your current cell phone number, because that's how we'll get a hold of it. I'll know, Dr. Greer and I will drive the roads, and we make that final decision. So I'll know as soon as she does, and I'll send you guys texts before it goes to anybody else in the district. So make sure that I have your current numbers. When the weather gets bad, you can come in an additional 15 minutes earlier to start to clean off your windshields. That's earlier than the correct start time, not earlier than an hour prior to you being here already. Yeah.
You driving the streets, is there a certain time that you go out to do that?
It depends on how bad it is. I won't hit the streets any later than 4 a.m.
Okay.
We'll be on the streets by 4. Make a decision by 4:30. You guys will have texts by 4:45, 5 o'clock.
So I won't have to get here already and find
Yes,
out.
that was a
Okay.
problem last year. We're going to eliminate that problem this
Oh,
year.
that would be great.
Make sure you hang your keys up at night. At night, we typically are supposed to go into the break room. We glance across your boxes, and if there's a set of keys missing, that's how we know somebody's missing, or that your keys didn't make it into the box. And expect a phone call, because we will call. Because if you don't show up the next day and we don't have keys, it's a problem. So please make sure you're hanging up your keys at night.
Kathy,
Yes.
for the last 2 months, I've been using the spare set of keys.
Okay.
We need to get another set done.
Yes.
Who should I-
Remind me afterwards. We'll go get a set done today. We don't want to lose those. Weekly fluid checks. That should be your weekly pre-trips. Make sure you're getting those done. Tammy says we're not getting nearly as many of those as we should be getting. So she's having to hound people for them. This is a requirement by federal regulations. I have to have this.
At least weekly, but we prefer daily.
So, okay. You need to make sure you watch your mileage for your oil changes. The mechanics don't keep track of that. We don't keep track of that. You're the one that sees your mileage every day. So look up on your sticker and make sure you're letting us know when you're due for mileage. Or oil changes. The board is working on removing the 1-year limit on children on the bus. So you'll be able to bring infants back onto the bus again. Hopefully that'll get some of our younger stay-at-home mom and dads back on buses. We've done it that way for decades and decades. Never had any issues. Then they put the 3-year-old limit on there. Last year, I think it was, we got it down to 1. And now we're trying to get it completely removed. In order to keep that on there, you cannot discipline your own kids on the bus. If you have an issue, you need to have your younger kid. For those of you that have raised babies on buses, there are kids on those buses that love to help, and they will be happy to sit with your little one and help keep them content while you're driving. both tiers, promise, swear to Pete it happens. Don't be doing that stuff on the bus. I can't tell you how many times I've had a parent call, I saw one of your drivers getting their finger in the face of a kid on the bus and yelling at them, and it was their own kid. And it looks bad because they don't know that's your kid. Shouldn't be doing that anyway, but they don't know that. So be nice to your kids and be nice to our new staff. I think it's gotten a lot better on the radio. It seems like it's much politer across the board. Just keep in mind, your tone says everything. And I'm a huge person for please and thank you. I don't know, not everybody is. But hey, 18-1, can you move up so that we can get in behind you, please? That sounds great. 18-1, you need to move. Okay, tone is everything. Be nice to everybody else because it's just like a text. I can't see your face. All I hear is your voice. And I don't like to be yelled at. All right, let's talk a little bit about securing your bus. When you roll up to a bus stop, you got kids loading, what's the first thing we're doing? Heartbreak. Lights. Yellow lights come on first. How far ahead? At least 200 feet. If you don't know how far that is, half a city block-ish. Okay? And then once you get stopped, parking brake. Number one violation of every driver that does not do a full secure bus stop is they are not setting their parking brake. Guys, that is a law. You have to set your parking brake. If little Johnny's walking in front of your bus and your parking brake isn't set, and you turn around to talk to Susie and your foot slips off that brake, what happens to Johnny? You have just run him over. You have to set your parking brake. What's the other thing we have to make sure you do? Put it in neutral. Two things. You have to put it in neutral and you have to set your parking brake. Many buses don't have neutral. What are you doing with your buses? It's in park. I don't want to see them in neutral or in drive when you're picking up kids. Okay? What else? Anything you can think of? Yep, your stop sign will come out. If you're on a busy road and they're crossing the road, hopefully you're helping signal them across and you're watching traffic for them. But the biggest thing I want to hit, because some of your cameras now, we can see the driver. And guys, we're not picking on you guys, I swear we're not. But I've watched too many videos with kids and instances that we're trying to see stuff happening on a bus. And you look down and the driver, you never hear the shh, and you don't see them into the neutral. So there's no parking brake. They're not in neutral, and they're sitting there trying to discipline kids while they're loading or unloading their bus. That scares the bejeebies out of me. Do not do that. We're going to start writing you guys up if you don't. It's common sense, and I don't want anybody killed. So you have to set that parking brake, and you have to put it in neutral.
They need to use there's some of them out there, I was gonna touch base on this, but not using their amber lights. They were stopping at a stop, open the door, and the red's coming on. And they are not, I've heard that from a couple of complaints about it.
So they're not setting
They're
their
not setting their amber lights, they're pulling up and they're just open their door. And
popping the reds.
then they're complaining because somebody drives past, well, they had no warning that they
Yeah.
were stopping.
When you pull up to a stoplight and it turns yellow, you know it's coming, right? You know the red's coming. If you roll up to a stop and the stop sign all of a sudden pops out, where was my yellow? Where was my warning that you were stopping? So she's got a good point. If you're not throwing your ambers, your yellow warning lights, they have no idea what you're doing. You're just stopped on the side of the road eating your buns or something. They don't know. And when you pop that red, it's your fault they ran it. It's not theirs. The sad part is the kids are watching for your stop sign. So if you're not throwing your ambers and you're just throwing your stop sign and they run out in front of a car that didn't know you were stopping to load, whose fault is that? How am I going to defend you if that's your fault? And it's totally your fault. Okay? All right. By the way, the kids, those 3 kids that got hit, it's exactly what happened. She didn't use her ambers. She just rolled up, put it in neutral, set the parking brake, opened the door, the stop sign popped out, and then the kids got hit. No unnecessary 3-point turns in a big bus. Are they necessary once in a while? Yes, we can't avoid them. It's not against the law, but I do not want you doing them if you do not have to be doing them. And why is that? That's exactly right. The more you back up, the more chances there are of an accident and you running somebody over. Okay, so please don't back your bus and don't do 3-point turns if you don't have to. We talked about the ice scrapers. If you need one, let Do know. All right, this is our fuel island, in case you haven't been there yet. Hopefully. Some of us have been out there and it hasn't been working. This is an oil spill or a fuel spill or something like that. If you overflow your tank, it happens. It's not a huge deal. But you'll notice up here, there's a little box. And inside that box, that one right there, we keep kitty litter, gloves, paper towels. We keep some supplies out there. When you make a spill, please use the kitty litter and sprinkle it over the top of that. It's really annoying when we get out of a bus and step smack dab into a pile of, or a puddle of fuel or oil and we have it all over our shoes. So be courteous, let us put that stuff on there so it can help absorb that. And then we have folks that go out and scoop that up every once in a while and get it off it. Okay? Questions on that? Yes, sir.
Also, when the takes off, don't keep topping off. Takes off, just stop there because
It's full.
it's full.
Okay? Do you guys hear that? When you're fueling and it kicks off, just let it be done. Don't be trying to squeeze that extra 2 ounces of fuel in there. Yes, sir.
I've had that happen though, where it kicked off early, and I put another 20 gallons in there. So,
Oh, because it's back feeding through the
I don't
nozzle.
like that bigger, I don't like that bigger nozzle.
Okay.
Mine was.
Yeah. All right. This is your weekly inspection sheet. It looks a little different than this. This is last year's. But if you guys don't have any defects, you can check mark down here where it says no defects. You can check mark down there for the whole day. No defects. Okay? And if you do have defects, you don't check mark no, but you come up here and you mark whatever was wrong, and then you can go out to the side and make a comment. If you find something wrong with your bus, you can't just put it on here. I need it on here too, and I need it turned in right away. Because you turn these in Friday, Monday, whatever. I want this right away so we can get it to the guys and we can get it fixed for you ASAP. When you send these in, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Deb's desk, but between the mechanics bringing over work orders and you guys turning in these, Deb can get behind and get a stack. These she gets to right away. These, if they pile up, she's okay with that because within an hour or two she can get caught up on that. But if it's 2 weeks before she looks at this, whatever you had wrong with your bus hasn't been touched. So you have to make sure you fill out a work order if you need something done to your bus.
Remember, that's an old one, so the oil will,
Yeah.
all that stuff is at the top.
Your oil check, your fluid checks will be on the new ones. Any questions? Yes. Yeah, the electronics ones should be working. Okay? And then make sure we're not writing down here. We've been doing pretty good on that, Ron? Not writing on the bottom?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. By the way, on the bottom of that said bus driver signature. When they come in and audit us, that's what we have to turn in, and your signature verifies that you have checked every single thing on that list. So if something goes wrong, and they can tie it back to the bus, and you have not been doing your legit pre-trips, but you've been signing off on them, guys, that's basically a federal document. They can come after you for that. Again, I can't protect you if you're fibbing on your pre-trips. You have to do your pre-trips. All right, I think we talked about this last week. I drove really slow up 119th when you guys were all pulling out to make sure everybody's windshields were nice and clean, and they were. Please don't let us see anybody doing this. Make sure you're getting here plenty early to get that cleared. Driver's license. If you have a renewal coming up on your license, you can renew it up to 1 year prior to this expiring. And your expiration date for the next time will not change. Okay, so that means this one expires in 23, so if I go in late 22 and renew my license, my new date is still going to be 4 years out. It's always your birthday. Okay, that can't change. So you can get this at least a year early if you want to. However, your medical cards renew on the exact date that you go in and do it. So if you go in a month early and get your medical card renewed, your renewal date is now a month earlier. Does that make sense? The renewal dates are different on these two cards. Okay, you can do this whenever you want to. I just want you to be aware If you're going in that much earlier, it's gonna keep bumping that date back on that. Okay, and if you have medical issues, you need to be doing it a month early so that you can make sure that they say, hey, I gotta have this and this from your doctor. You're not doing it 2 days before it expires, and we're not able to let you drive. Okay? Questions on any of that? We're gonna get you out of here early today. Caring Hearts, Deronda. You're done.
I still have 2 more names, if anybody would, 2 more gifts, if anybody would like to claim them. Otherwise, I've got all of ours taken care of. Becky sent me some of these things too. You guys can take these, pass them out to anybody, keep them yourself, you just scan them, and then you can adopt a kid off of this also. Friday, we're picking up food, but it's all being taken care of. But December the 13th, 14th, and 15th, from 5 till, I think it's 7 o'clock, we're gonna be passing out food, presents and all stuff. If anybody wants to volunteer for that, just let me know. We can use all kinds of help that day. And it will all be outside, we're not inside the building, so you'd have to dress warm.
And that's volunteer, you don't get to stay on the clock for that,
Yeah,
guys.
you don't.
Sorry.
And those of you that don't know what Caring Hearts are, they're kids that are in our Mays School District that need presence, they need assistance, their parents need help. And it's just all in the Mays School District for our Caring Hearts.
It's all local. Food and gifts, it's a great program. If you guys have never seen it, it's amazing. Mr. Chris. I was nice.
I'm waiting.
He was waiting for the picture.
Oh, she was. All right, just a couple things. One, last week, we had 2 raccoons, or maybe 1 raccoon on 2 buses, so they're getting on the buses again. So for us that have been here for a while, and we were out the old 53rd Street, that's nothing new. They like getting on buses and getting the trash cans. Every bus that doesn't have an electric door, which is just the mini buses, where they don't have the release, like on the big buses, has a clamp. If you don't have a clamp, come see me and I'll get you one. That's why the clamps are there. They're there for 2 reasons. 1, to keep the critters out. 2, if the winds are blowing. We had a picture, and we usually show it in December, where doors open and snow blew in and it's all over the driver's seat. So those clamps are there for a reason. If you don't have one, come see me. MCA, don't sit in the drop-off lane. If you're there to pick up kids, drop off and go over to the parking lot. Most of our shuttles, there's more than one, so don't hog the little cutout in the sidewalk. Don't block entrances at any point. It says don't during shuttles. Somebody brought this up. Just don't block entrances, okay? Buses plugged in. If your bus has a plug on it, it needs to be plugged in from now on, because every night for the next couple months, it's going to be below 40 degrees. At 40 degrees, those things kick on. They're on for a certain amount of time, like Kathy says, and they'll turn back off. They'll keep it constant. They're not going to blow it up. If you don't have a cord, if you're not sure how to do it, come see me and we'll fix that. Washer fluid, the ones up here are already frozen just from 3 days of cold. The washer fluid that's out at the fuel bay has heaters in them. It would cost way too much to do that for all these. So if you need to wash your windows, the fuel bay. They've got heaters in it, so they'll stay unfrozen. Deb Weaver, Alan Bashford, Deb Scott, you need to do your 2-step verification of the last 3 that I have. They reopened it, so if you have questions about how to do that, come see me afterwards. That's pretty much it.
The left of me South High?
They said they were put it back on.
No, but we need to stop going left at Mays South High. Again, this morning I had 2 buses, I think, call in, and they were waiting 15 minutes to get out of there. We can't afford that. So if you can't get out going left right now, you go right. You have got to go right. You cannot hold the other buses behind you up that long.
Going around the block is a lot
Well,
faster
there's a
than
little
15 minutes.
circle thing in addition, they can make a right turn and get around that thing and come back
Even
down.
that, if it's too quick to turn, there's traffic going. If you go over 1 block past Tyler, there's Pepper Ridge. That goes a little squiggly and then comes back out to Tyler. Place.
As I
some of that this morning was parents that were turning left too. Cause I was at the back of the line, well, not.
I was being
back,
ignored.
But me and Amy were in the back, and there was a bunch of parent cars or whatever that were turning left. And then we couldn't turn right because all the traffic going east started going, so that's what the problem was this morning.
The sign that was up there before, for like 2 days, I think maybe,
Yeah.
I think they had to take it down because it has to be approved by the board first, is that
No,
right?
they're doing a, traffic study, and they didn't wanna leave that up there and have it impede, they wanted to track how long those 15 minutes, so Darren had them take it down, they will put it back up once the traffic study's done. Oh, on the critters, if you have one on your bus, you don't wanna get it off, the best thing is you open the emergency exits, call the mechanics. I'm not here in the morning, sorry.
Yes, sir.
How long that go on at
21st and Hoover, I talked to Kelly this morning, and I think an email came from you?
No, I went and looked on the, construction was spring of next
So it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, spring of 2023.
Okay, I mean, going that other way, taking Hoover on them to that little bad railroad crossing, it's nice that they got that stoplight in here, but that takes about 5 minutes. And I can't adjust my timing, so I'm just gonna be late. Because from when I get out of intermediate, so.
And I know going north on Hoover is pretty, yeah, it's dangerous because when you're kind of in the middle of that turn and traffic doesn't know you're stopping, yeah. We'll look at it, but I don't know there's a whole lot we can do about it without altering
I'm gonna be
times.
late every day, that's all there is to it.
Okay. A good way to do a critter check is to be opening your back door and look down the floorboards. So if you don't want to get surprised by a skunk on your bus, whatever, that's the way I always did my pre-trip. Yep, as I always open that back door, you gotta do it on your pre-trip anyway, just do it from the outside and look down your floorboards. You can usually tell they're in there. Tony! Chris can't believe it, didn't he?
Do I have to get up?
You got anything for us?
Yeah, real quick, but do I have to get up there?
No, you can do it from there.
Guys, real quick, I'm not gonna tolerate anybody disrespecting our drivers, I don't care who it is, what kid it is, doesn't matter, they're coming off the bus, I don't need 1 warning, 2 warnings. Anybody, I mean, you can ask a couple of drivers who were taking kids off the bus for just mouthing off. So, what am I gonna do with it? We have, it's not boasting or anything, but there's 176 write-ups right now for kids. And I think we're close to 40 suspensions from 2 days to 2 weeks for the whole school year. We've taken a kid off the bus for the whole school year. So, keep doing it. If you have problems on your buses, let me know. I'm not a mind reader, so if you have something, let me know, and if I'm not driving, I can come over and help while you're at the schools. And if there's a problem on the bus right then and there, we'll get the kid out right then and there and let mama deal with it. All right, so that's all I have.
Can we get help from the other administrators at the different stops? If we've got, because I've got a couple kids that like to hang out windows. I've gotten after them and I'm gonna start writing them up. But can we get help from the administrator at that school to come by and talk to those kids? Because the administrators walk right by when they're hanging out the window and not said a thing.
They'll talk to them.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
But my other thing is, either me or Paul switch sides to get me away from the sidewalk.
Is that what's causing the problem, kids on the sidewalk?
That would probably solve the problem, getting away from the sidewalk.
Okay. We can leave that up to you guys, but,
I'm
Yeah,
hoping
we'll
now
get
that
help.
it's cold,
yeah.
that'll quit.
And guys, if it's something like that, that is a minor thing, because the bus is not moving at the time, write them up. If you don't want to write them up, come see me. If you don't know how to write them up, ask one of your fellow drivers. If you don't want to ask them because you're embarrassed for them, no, come over and talk to me about it. I'm not going to say anything, just come over and we'll do it together. I'll show you how to do it the first time. Your screen, Your screen's gonna be different than mine, but you'll get the idea of how to do it. And we'll take care of it.
Yes, ma'am.
On that, the teachers and the administrators are just as bad about stopping and high-fiving the kids out the window or talking to the kids out the window.
TAC, are you hearing that? Our TAC group has been talking to admin at the building, so we will definitely get that
That and
addressed.
sending candy out with the kids.
Yes.
I see a lot of them coming with suckers in their mouths.
Okay.
On the discipline thing real quick, don't come into my office and tell me you're gonna write a kid up. Write them up. This whole, nothing to rude, Kevin, but I'm going to start writing them up isn't cutting it.
Yeah.
If they keep doing something, write them up. We can't fix problems if you don't write them up, okay? You keep having the same problem with the kid you've tried, write them up. I've heard Termly say that to God knows how many people. Write them up, because that's how we discipline them. You can't do it without a record. If you have issues, go see Tony, he'll help you do it. But write them up. You don't need to go tell everybody that you're gonna write them up, do it. If you don't follow through, all it is an empty threat, and they'll just keep doing it. Write them up. There's a reason why that's the policy, there's a reason why that's the procedure. Write them up. Because the first thing I'm gonna say, did you write them up? No, well, I can't do anything. Okay? Write them up. It's not hard.
Anybody else? Nothing? Okay.
When the badges think it'll go live?
Badges are live. They just say unknown, they're not, okay. On the badges, there's two sets of data. There's the card data that came from the card people, there's Mark's working on it right now. The card's assigned to that student, it just says unknown, because that's the name it's assigned right now, until Mark gets the data transferred over, and since it's our first time doing it, it's taking a little longer. They're live. And I've been pulling buses, I've moved my stuff over to the maintenance bay, so I can work on them in the cold. And I'm trying to get all of them back up. We've got them here in a couple of weeks, they'll be out to help put new ones in, to troubleshoot. But the badges themselves are live, they just say unknown as the name, because that's the name assigned to it until IT gets their portion of it. It should be done any time now, but they're still active.
How are you, so how are you gonna notify us when it's supposed to be working? So we know to tell the kids, okay, start badging on and off.
I just start badging them on and off. It works. It just has their name as unknown. The badge ID still is associated to that badge. The name is just unknown because we haven't tied, they're trying to figure out how to do that. It's the first time doing it. The badge and all that system is active. If you haven't, have them sign up, swipe on and off the bus. Okay?
So is it registering their ID number, just not their name?
Right.
Does that make sense? It's still clocking them in and out of the bus.
It shows their name
Yeah.
as
It's just,
unknown.
yeah.
Each card has an RFID number and a name associated. Or we're tying them together, so their transport knows what name is associated with that number, but they're all just, their names right now is just unknown. They're working on it right now.
But we can still tell who they are by their ID numbers.
When they swipe get it on the bus, you get to the school and it says, no kids drop off.
Okay, it's not loading right for some reason. On that, on yours?
Yeah, mine does that too, but mine also doesn't, my scanner doesn't work. It doesn't scan them in at all.
Can you, write up
Transport
something for
work
him?
orders are for transporting that are in back, write that stuff up.
Yeah.
I've got a whole list of ones that are, I know they've got issues, so if it's something I don't have up on the list, I have most likely have it already. Write it up on transport work orders and bring it to me that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Flyer about bus compass and, the parents getting the app through Google or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Is that flyer going out to parents?
Yes,
Because
I gotta finish up the email for Lori to send out today.
Okay.
And I'll get it out there. Well, it done yesterday, but I did not do it.
Back to bringing up kids, what's the policy on special ed kids?
Go in here.
Cricket. They wanna know what the policy is on our sped kids for writing them up.
I'm writing them up and kicking them off until somebody tells me different.
Okay, so on the sped kids, we could kick them off the school bus up to 10 days for a school year without having to provide service. We want to write them up because if there's something that changes, like say they're escape artists and they get out of their car seat, one of the next step is going to a vest. If we've got a bunch of write-ups in there showing that they get out of it, it justifies to the IEP team putting them in a vest. So write them up. Just,
That makes sense?
yep, write them up.
Even if we're not kicking them off, if nothing else, it's documentation. So even if it's not justifiable to kick them off after 3 offenses, you've at least got documentation for their IEP teams to say, hey, this is what this kid has been doing all year long. It's not been worthy of kicking them off, but we need to address it so we get the transportation team doesn't have to work so hard. So by all means, write them up. And then communicate with Tony and let him know, hey, I don't want them kicked off. I just want documentation wrote up. And you stay in communication with Tony, he'll work with you.
We have one that's called a bus verbal, and it's just for that purpose, is documenting stuff that you're handling on the bus, but we want to document it for an IEP team, so it's not even a first warning, it's just a bus verbal, so that administrators can go back and look and see what they're doing on the bus, because they keep escaping when steps is the 5-point harness, so we can try different things.
Anything else? Okay, yes, Paul?
At MIS in the morning, because your slide 5, about leaving buses early and they're not unloaded yet.
Yes.
At MIS, there's 1 or 2 little sped buses parked up front. And we're completely unloaded, and we are unknown if they're unloaded or not.
Okay,
They don't have the turn signals on.
okay,
We see people inside.
okay,
We're just supposed to sit and wait and wait and wait.
okay. Minis, do you hear that?
Yeah, but see, we gotta go to that door,
Uh-huh.
because that's where the teachers are at.
Right.
So then they take forever to get out there, so
Okay,
what I would tell the bus drivers to do, big ones, is go around all the little buses up
You don't have
there.
a turn
Two things
signal
you
on
can
it,
fix this.
go.
One is
Yep,
using
if
your
we don't have the
Just
turn
pull.
signals, just
and
go.
using your radio.
Usually
If you
there's
don't know,
one with a
call
pole.
the bus you see and say, hey, are you loaded, are you unloaded? Can we go around? We're going around. That way they can talk to you and say, hey, we're waiting on the Paris, you know, they love coming out late. So use the radio.
but if they know that you're coming around, they can shut their door and say, hey, you just hang out for a minute or whatever. So, good question. Anything else? Okay, before I go to the next one, we do have 4 brand new conventionals being delivered. 2 of them are already here, not here, but they're at Kansas Truck now. I think the other 2 are supposed to be delivered, probably not next week because of the holiday, but the week after. If you guys don't know what a conventional is, our big buses are flat noses, or transits. Conventionals have a nose on them like a semi. I've talked to several of our senior drivers that would probably be first in line. Keep in mind, they're only 74, 72 passenger. They're smaller, so if you can't handle that size of load, just ignore me. But if there's anybody that would be interested in taking one of those buses, you can let me know. I can't guarantee that you'll get one, but I'm having problems finding people that would be interested in driving one of those. So we have 4 brand new ones coming in. Yes, sir.
For you guys that are thinking about it, I couldn't stand those buses. Hold on. And then I went to drive for Haven, a football team, on a Friday night, a couple weeks back. And that's what they gave me, and they taught me how to use everything real quick. Those buses are awesome. They are really nice, so I would seriously think about getting one of those. The turn radius is a little longer than our flat nose, but they are nice and they get up and go. So I would think about getting one of those.
If you're interested, just let me know, and if you even want to just drive one, let me know, and we'll let you just get out and drive one and see if you like it. So senior drivers that have been here the longest, you get first dibs. If your route will fit. You don't fit, you don't fit, you don't fit. That's my biggest kicker, is most of you guys don't fit. But some of you that have long routes, but you're in the country or whatever, and you only got 30, 40, 50 kids on there, you'll fit easy. So,
And there's gas and no debt.
no, yeah, they're gas engines, so there's no DEF on them either. So, and hopefully less problems. Okay? Right now, we're looking at a lease program. I've built buses online to give to the board. We're looking at, I'm super stoked, potentially 20 buses next year instead of just 4. So we're looking at 8 to 10 mega minis, like Karen's size and Hussein, those sizes. Maybe 1 or 2 minis. We haven't decided on the minis. And then the rest of them, 2 activity buses with the belly storage and air conditioning, and then the rest of them in the big buses. So we're pretty excited about that. So hopefully next year, we'll be able to rotate a ton of the fleet out. Get rid of these old ones.
Hey Kathy,
Yes.
just to see you on those new buses are coming, they are air conditioned, put the windows down on them.
If you didn't hear, the new buses are air conditioned, you just roll the windows down. It works great.
On the purchasing thing, if that approves, then I would suggest that you tell kids that have parents that are involved in PTOs, say, hey, this sounds like a good idea, and it looks like it's gonna pass anyways. We'll be able to rotate our entire fleet through every 7 years,
Every 5 to 7 years.
so we'll have no buses older than 7 years, which is awesome.
Yeah, we used to do them by how many miles they were driven.
This will
And now the
provide
lease
these
programs are by
other
years.
people mileage, but every 7 years we'll have, that's the oldest bus will ever get 7 years, and it'll get rotated into a new one.
That's the goal, yes, sir.
What about electric buses?
We have actually toyed with it. We turn in grants every chance we get. The problem with the electric bus is I can order your bus, brand new, for about $130,000, just like what you have right now. An electric bus is about $425,000.
Plus we have to pay for the upgrade to the power grid.
Yep.
We will at some point.
Yep.
Mr. Bergkamp, who does the solar stuff, is on board to go after grants and stuff. Problem is with the grants they keep putting out, our district doesn't qualify because we don't have enough students below poverty level. And that's always been their kicker, is getting it out. Right now, there's one out that'll pay 45% of it, but 45% of 400,000 is still 200,000. So, yes, we want to, it would be great. It's a lot of upfront cost, and it'll pay for itself in the long run. There's less cars, but it's gonna be a
We are on board.
Do they do a lease on those two? or-
Yes, they do. Yeah. So
So, yeah, we'll look at doing that.
we have to have some sort of grant money up front because the board laughs at me every time I
I
say
didn't know, 'cause,
$500,000 on a
tax
bus.
and stuff, it's supposed to help school districts out.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they give
there's-
us one that we can actually qualify for, yeah, well, absolutely.
Yeah. The last one, it was poverty level, size of the district, and location.
Yeah,
We didn't
how many-
qualify for
yeah,
any of it.
basically, how many Title IX students you have, so we don't
Yeah.
qualify, we didn't qualify. but
We
keep
applied
trying.
anyway, but I didn't get no money. So, any other questions? Good questions. All right, Mr. Ron, oh, yes.
On red light, I was talking to Sarah this morning about it, but some of us have huge issues with people running their red lights constantly. I have that trouble with that kid in college on Tyler.
Your red lights?
Yeah.
On your bus?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I had 10 cars pass me the other day
Okay.
with the reds out.
That's on my tag that, the Floyd, the WPD said, email Kathy, she will email them, and they will, because WPD right now is doing, USD 266, or first student, and they're going to those stops, so if she can email the places where you're at, and she will forward that email, and then they will be,
They'll go patrol that area
yeah.
for you.
And they asked for, like, they got, there was, Sedgwick County did it one, not too long ago for, Ridge Road. Just give me a 5 to 10 minute window when you're there, or the Kathy or me, and then I'll report it to her. The time you're there and about how far you can get the time. Because if they can do this, the smaller the window, the more likely they are to be there. So get that information. The sheets that we fill out, we don't know that that deputy even works there anymore. We're not using it.
So those sheets that we're filling out, that, Crystal filled out one yesterday, and they don't have manpower to do it anymore. They wrote her an email saying, this is just makes me easy. They said, hey, we're not doing it right now, I used to do it, I don't do it anymore, I'm out on the road, and they didn't assign it because of the budget.
Then give them to me, and I make a spreadsheet, and then I forward it on to WPD. So they'll have the intersections, at least I can give them some sort of data of where it's happening and how often of occurrence it is.
Yep.
Any others?
Even if it's in a housing development?
Doesn't matter, if they're running your red lights, it's illegal, turn it in, and I'll get it turned into the Wichita PD.
Maybe somebody that does it several times throughout the day, so if they start seeing patterns, they'll sit on the intersection.
And we say I'll turn it into Wichita PD, but understand the sheriff's department's willing to step in and help us with the Mays School District. So we know Mays can't handle it, they just don't have the numbers right now. The sheriff's department will come in and help monitor us.
We'll step in if we have to. They see a high number, they'll keep pushing it up to get somebody there. We just have to get them the most specific data as possible.
Yep. Okay, all right.
Okay, fluid checks. I guess being a mechanic all my life, I take it for granted you know how to do that. Sean had a question, had someone ask him the other day, should I check my oil with the engine on or off? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, you want to check your oil before you even start the engine, when it's cold. That's gonna give you your best reading. Even after it's run for a bit, the oil goes off in the engine and it's gonna read a little lower. But when you first get in your bus, you check your oil. Now, tranny fluid, it's best to check after it's warmed up, after it's running. If you check it with it off, it's gonna read high. Coolant, don't ever pull the cap, especially if it's hot. Try to look in your little bubble or sight glass to check it. Don't pull the cap. I don't want anybody getting scolded. Power steering, you can check it with it also. Air doors. We've had air doors. They have too much air pressure going to them, so they just slam open or slam shut. Let us know if they're slamming really hard. Let us know. We've had several of them. The welds are breaking around them because they're too much air pressure to them, and they're just slamming. We can adjust the air pressure to it, so they just. It's gonna make them last long. So we don't have to weld them back on. They're breaking the welds. So we'll do a write-up on it. Let us know if you think they're slamming open and shut too hard.
It's also easier on the students should you accidentally.
If it's a student you don't like. Yeah. On transport, if you first get in your bus in the morning or afternoon, if that screen's on or you hear that DVR running, do a write-up on it, let us know, let Chris know. That's killing your battery. That thing should be shut off.
Yeah, they're supposed to shut off after 180 minutes, so if they're not, let me know, because that's what it's scheduled for. For some reason, it's not getting the data to turn off. When you turn it off the last time, it should go 180 minutes to turn off. It also has a sensor in there that the volts in the battery go to 11.6, or at 11.6 it'll be on, but 11.5999, they're supposed to shut off, so if it's not doing that, let me know.
See, I think that's all. Oh, just reiterate cold start and why it's so important. Diesel engines, the combustion process is based on real high compression and heat, where gasoline fires a lot easier than diesel. So you've all seen a space heater with the little coils that glow red when you turn it on, and well, diesels have a little miniature one in the intake system. You kick your key on, it says wait to start. Well, what that's doing, that's heating up those coils. So when you crank that thing over, the air coming in the engine gets warmed up, helps it fire right up. That's the importance of the wait to start light. I just wanted so you guys understand why that's so important.
Okay, this is a LED light, because I'm having issues with it. You gotta replace my amber one, but I'm having trouble with the red one. So, and I see a lot of the tail lights on the buses. At what percentage do you say, okay, it's bad? Because they might have, I'm gonna fictitious, like 100 LEDs in a light.
Yeah.
You got 25 of them out. What percentage do you start saying, okay, it's bad?
The troopers have told me that as long as you have 50% of the lights still on that thing, you're fine. If you get under 50%, just go ahead and replace it. Okay? Yeah, because they're not just on or off. Sometimes several of them get burn out, the LEDs go out, but that doesn't mean you have to replace it. If it gets under like half of them lit up, then go ahead and write it up.
My bus has had an issue the past couple of days where the check engine light on will be on like in the mornings, off in the afternoons, on in the mornings, off in the afternoons. We've written it up, but is that something that we really, should be concerning, that it keeps shutting on and off? The check engine light?
Yeah, I mean, it might be, you would drive a minibus?
Yeah.
Okay. So minibuses are different now. It may be a glow plug issue. So it's fine in the afternoon when it's warmer, because it needs a glow plug. But still, you've written it up, you need to check it and see why it's doing.
Well, it's just something that a sub worker has been wondering, because she noted that to me.
Yesterday morning it was off, and then this morning it was back on again. I noticed Michelle had written it down on her little sheet. I don't think it's actually been turned in yet, to my knowledge.
Okay. What bus number?
20.
Okay. It may be temperature related, and it may be a glow plug going bad. But we need to get a write-up so we can check it out. I don't have anything else, I just need one driver after after the meeting, to take 20-17 to Kansas Truck, to get an body estimate and to look at the broken seat.
Make that 3 drivers, because we're taking one of the funny buses down to get the AC installed. That seems weird to say in 23 weather, but the AC units are finally here for the funny ones, so we'll take 2 then and 1 driver to bring them back, so.
And
Thank
little
you.
questions like what do we have? That's a good question. What percentage of the LED? You guys have those? Email Ron. That way he can answer it, and then if you got a question about it, you can email me. Well, maybe we can put together a little cheat sheet, something just quick facts like, hey, this is, we're going to ask questions. What does this mean? Or what does this mean? We either got those email or me or Ron. That way we can put stuff together, a little just a quick cheat sheet that we can post somewhere if you have questions.
Yeah, if you have emailed me, and I check my emails quite often, and I'll respond to it. Some of you have emailed me, and
And if it's something that you get, a couple times, just we'll put it down, and that way we can answer it. Maybe somebody else has that question that we didn't know about.
Put in a safety meeting. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
everyone has
The
questions.
headlights, some of them I see where they're switching to LED. Is that something we're switching to, or we're testing it out, or?
yeah, we have a handful of them. We've switched some of them over. I've heard complaints about them that.
Oh, right.
The thing is the LEDs is what everything's doing to you. They're not required yet, but like the old Edison bulbs, how they phase them out and everything's got, at some point they will, so we bought a bunch, they were cheap, and see how they work. Yeah, they're super bright.
Personally, I hate them because when I'm coming up on someone and they're blunt, headlights, all they need to do is light up the roadway ahead of you, man. They don't need to light up the whole neighborhood. That's my opinion.
Anything else? Okay.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
She has it till
3 minutes, okay,
Wait, I got more.
I got 1 minute. TAC, next TAC meeting is November 25th, it's at 9 a.m. It may be at 1 a.m., or 1 a.m. Sorry, 29th. 29th at 9 a.m., it may be at 1 a.m., and we're really, really trying to get MIS over 1 a.m. 1 p.m. Just cannot be wrong in this crowd. We're really trying to get MIS over, because we know that's kind of a mess still. But WPD was the one that came to our last TAC meeting and gave us the information about running stoplights and getting those areas, and I personally experienced them coming over because we complained about stop on 21st, and I did see him over there, and none of those cars ran the stoplight while he was there, amazingly enough. But yeah, that is something he said, hey, just get that stuff, Kathy, and then they'll pass that information on. MHS came to the last meeting, Keith Elliott, And Dr. Botts came, I noticed, did anybody notice, there's a no left turn signal come, or sign from 7 to 7:45 MHS. That's TAC, messing and pushing for that signage there. He said he's trying to get us out of there at 247 is trying to get all the buses out of there, and Dewey's graciously agreed to be the bus of shame.